This is my Twitter, Angels POV. You can tweet me. I'll tweet you back. I got a lot of information I'm going to try to cover here really fast, so just keep up with me. So the first thing I want to show you is a picture, okay? So check out this picture. We're going to play a little game while we're going through this. This is a picture I took, one set of a brick wall and sidewalk. I took one in New York City, and the other one I took here in Roanoke. And if you notice, really, unless you were actually there with me when I took these pictures, it's probably hard to figure out which one it is, right? So just keep that in mind. You can guess which one it is. I'll give you the answer later on. But anyways, again, my name is David Verde. I live in a small town called Christiansburg, just south of Roanoke here. And I'm pretty new to this area. I moved here about 2 years ago from Charleston, South Carolina. I'm going to talk to you, all right, I'm going to talk to you about PechaKucha and a few other things that I've done, but I do a whole bunch of things. I'm a wedding DJ, I'm married, I spent 6 years in the Air Force, I'm a vet, and what most people know me around here as, they know me as the fashion guy, okay, so I shoot street style. So if you're not familiar with street style, basically the newspaper gave me a job to do this. I walk around the streets and I stop people in their tracks and I say, hey, you look fashionable, can I take your picture? And somehow I magically convince them to have a complete stranger take their picture on a public sidewalk and then have it posted on the internet. Okay, so, aside the fact that I get to meet and take pictures of pretty girls all the time, my favorite part of street style, this is probably my favorite job, it's because I get to meet incredible people when I'm out and about, and I also get to look at cities in a completely different way. So, back to our brick picture, right? So what happens? We move to a new town, we have a new job, and we see everything. It's all new and shiny to us, but then we get settled in, we put blinders on, right? We start looking down, and all we see are sidewalks and brick walls. We're not looking up anymore, right? Well, I don't look at that. This is some pictures here in Roanoke. I literally walk around the same blocks here in downtown Roanoke all the time, but I never get bored. This is a picture on Campbell Avenue, about 2 blocks up the road, or I guess it's on 1st and 2nd Street. This is another really cool building on Franklin Road. It's the Jefferson Electric Company building. I could talk about an hour about this building. There's so much details. I think there's a walk here shortly, so definitely go down Franklin. And another picture. This is on Jefferson. This building is awesome, and I always see like a site like this. The clouds are always out and about. But where am I? All right. Oh, my bad. When I'm out and about, here's the thing. When you're in new town and you're meeting people, they start talking to you. And what do people talk to you about? They don't talk to you about the positive things. They tell you about the negative stuff, right? They go, man, this is what's going on wrong. This is what Roanoke isn't doing. This is what everybody's doing wrong. And we need more shops. We need more restaurants. We need more people walking downtown, right? So I'm new to this area, so I just started listening to them, and I became this guy. I became the everything sucks guy, right? Because I started agreeing with them. I hadn't lived here long enough, so I just took their opinion because I guess this is what they're saying. Everything sucks, so I'm just going to agree with them, okay? So so I went back down to Charleston. I visited some friends, and I'm talking to them like, man, I love living in Virginia, but it sucks there, because I'm the everything sucks guys. So they go, listen, David, either move back to Charleston or stop complaining and do something about it. So I'm like, okay, well, I moved to Virginia for a reason, so I'm going to figure out something that I can do. So here's the first thing that I did. I came back and I found out about these events called a tweed run. And if you've never heard of tweed runs, basically what they are, they're a bike ride where you get dressed up in tweed and old British vintage clothes and you jump in your bike and you just ride through town, right? So I'm like, okay, this is great. It has fashion related, and it's a bike ride. I'm an avid cyclist, so I'm going to put this on. So I set the date. I got some sponsors, and I'm like, all right, so just like street style, tweed run's something that people haven't really heard of. So I had to explain people what a tweed run is. No, it's not a jog where you're in tweed, but it's a bike ride, and then I had to tell them, to convince them why they need to come out. So we had our ride, and we actually had about 40 people show up to our first ride, and almost everybody came out in tweed, and we rode through town. We actually cut through the parade that was going on. But here's what I learned from doing the tweed run. It's all about participation. So what did I do? I created an event that was fun and exciting and unique for people to be present. They were willingly coming out to be present. So you have to participate. You can't just talk. You have to walk. So if you're trying to make a change, you need to come out to these things going on. All right? So... all right, here's where PechaKucha comes into play, all right? So I'm like, all right, I'm Mr. Positive now because I'm not talking negative anymore, and everything doesn't suck, everything's great. So what I started to notice now, because I'm not letting people talk complain to me anymore, I'm noticing the interaction difference. So what we have is we have business people over here who don't like talking to these business people, and then you have creative people over here who don't like talking to these creative people. For some weird reason, everybody's clicking. You probably see this in your own town. People are in really tight cliques, and they don't want to mingle. So I'm like, there needs to be some kind of format where people come together and they get to share their ideas and decide to be willingly to work together. So I'm like, I found out about this PechaKucha Night thing, so I went and checked one out, and it was awesome. It was basically like this 3-day conference, but on crack. And it's like 2 hours long, and you have all these micro presentations going on, and here's the catch. You use this format called 20 by 20. You get 20 slides for 20 seconds each that runs for 6 minutes and 40 seconds total, and that's it. So you get up there, you talk, you don't get one of these. It just goes automatically, and when you're done, you get off. It kick you off the stage. All right? So, And here's the other thing. You can't make money doing this. I don't make a dime, and people who present don't make anything, and the organizers don't make anything. It's all volunteers, people who are trying to make a difference. So I'm like, all right, this is awesome. So I'm getting pretty good at convincing people to do things they've never heard of, so I'm going to put on this PechaKucha night. So I put it on, and we're actually about to have our 4th event here in December, and it's at the Water Heater here in Roanoke, and it's been really good. And the first night I did everything myself. I had my mom help me, and she ran the computer, and my wife greeted people at the door, but I actually have a team of people. So what I learned from PechaKucha is being persistent, okay? So I'm coming up with all these things that people have never heard of before, so I have to remind them what it is. I have to go, listen, this is what you need to come out, and you got to come out. Hey, did you hear about PechaKucha? Hey, PechaKucha was last week. Oh, and the next one's in December. You got to come out to PechaKucha. I'll remind you about PechaKucha every time I see you, okay? So because it's not the normal. We're changing perception, so we have to remind people and make it part of the new habit, right? All right, so anyways, here's just a couple slides from some of our past events, and these are the flyers, and this is the one for the one we're having in December. But here's the best thing that happens because of PechaKucha. We're bringing something that's new, and people come up to me and they go, that was awesome. I can't believe I haven't heard of this before. I can't wait to come to the next one. And then somebody always comes up to me and they go, David, I can't believe I didn't know somebody was doing that around here. So they're finding out about people doing amazing things in their own backyard. So here's where, this is what I learned from doing PechaKucha. It's about partnerships. PechaKucha is about creating partnerships. It's putting people in front of other people who are like-minded so they can work together and do as a team. When we work together, when we partner, we build potential. When we work together, we build a higher capacity to do more in our area. And that's what it's all about, right? We're trying to make a difference. So I'm implementing this into my world now. So I've dug myself another hole, and I live in a town called Christiansburg. And at the last PechaKucha, I met a couple who also live in Christiansburg. We're like, man, Christiansburg's so cool. There needs to be a downtown organization. You know, there needs to be more things going on here. I'm like, I know, right? We should start it. And I'm like, okay, we will. So we're actually officially announcing that in December. So don't tell anybody yet. But here's what we're using for PechaKucha, okay, or for downtown Christiansburg Geek. We're using this partnership concept because the people who are coming to present, I'm meeting all these incredible people. So one thing we want to do in Christiansburg is we want to have a community garden. Well, Mark Powell, he's the Roanoke community garden guy here in Roanoke, and I talked to him, and I'm like, hey man, why don't you help me do a community garden so we don't have to worry about trying to develop that from the ground up in our program. We're going to utilize his program. His program's going to help us. We're going to get a community garden in Christiansburg, and that's going to make my neighborhood a little bit a better place, right? All right, so the other thing is, like, we had another presenter at PechaKucha. He's Ride Solutions, okay? Christiansburg's going to be the bike town. Come and visit me in 5 years. It's going to be the bike town, I promise you. Ride Solution does the commuter ways and the bike paths and the all the pedestrian kind of stuff. Well, we're going to utilize their knowledge, their resources to help us make our town a bike town, okay? So, woo. All right, here we go. So here are the P words that I'm talking about. These are my P words to help promote progression in your town. So PechaKucha, it's grassroots, man. It's from the bottom up. You can't get the Google exec from California to come over here and talk at your PechaKucha. It's only locals, okay? So if you don't live on my block, you can't come talk. Participation. You got to show up. You got to be present. If you don't show up, then you're just the everything sucks guys. You're just going to talk about it. So if you're not the one putting things on, you need to show up because it's worth your while. And be persistent. So you're the person who's putting on PechaKucha. You got all these other crazy ideas, and you're putting those on. So now you got to be persistent. We're changing perception. We're bringing new ideas. You have to make it a new habit. So you have to harass them. Harassment works. These people will show up just to get you off their back. So be persistent. And the last thing is partnerships. Again, it's all about coming together and work together as a team. When we have more people on board, we have a bigger team making bigger plays. And so here we are at our bricks again. So what we're trying not to do is we want to keep looking up because we don't want to look down and put our blinders on and be limited to only seeing sidewalks and brick walls because that's when we lose sight of the big picture. Thank you very much.